We've been working on a lot of projects lately, including this extension on the garage, which I talked about in a recent video. So lots of things happening right now, and along with that, getting ready to update our inventory for fall shipping in just a few days. September 1st is coming around the corner. I thought it'd be fun to walk around with folks and show you all what the plants are that we're growing this year, how we're growing them, and set expectations about what it is we'll be able to offer. So stick around. The first, more zoomed out note is that Edible Acres is a nursery. Some of you might not know that if you've come to this channel for chicken videos or wood stove videos and the like. So we make our living selling these crazy beings. We grow them in crazy ways that are actually very practical, but look insanely chaotic. We're entirely organic. We only use rainwater that we collect and make the fertility for all of this production with compost that our chickens generate. So it's a pretty permaculture-y system overall. I think we can wrap it in that word. And this fall, we normally sell both September 1st and March 1st are the times that we update our inventory. And this season we've got a huge number of plants. We certainly will run out of our ability to be able to put together orders before we run out of plants to offer. And you can see in front of me here, these are air prune boxes. You see down below, this cap was over this for a while. And so just in this one area, these are all hazelnuts. It's a 2-foot by 4-foot box. And there's 3 of them here. Each of them have, about 150 trees. And Juan is growing a huge number of hazelnuts, chestnuts, walnuts, and peaches that we'll be offering through the website too. And you can see some of these are 2 feet, almost 3 feet tall. Some will be too tall for us to ship. So we're going to reserve the tallest, biggest plants for those folks that order that are more local. I should address quickly that unfortunately we don't offer shipping outside of the United States. So if you're in Canada or Europe, I'm afraid we don't know how to help you. Although I might put a link in the description to some videos that we made in the past that asked for folks to share their favorite nurseries that are outside of the US, and maybe we'll do an update on that. But you can see in front of me here, again, what you don't see in this nursery is the standard model of production where it's straight rows of one species of plant. So for example, just in this one area is a whole bunch of American persimmons. These are, believe it or not, first-year plants already 2.5 feet tall. They might be 3 feet tall. We've got some second-year river locust growing and some chestnuts in here, some second-year hazelnuts, and some seedling apples, which we may or may not offer. Certainly for local folks, we're going to have 5 or 6 foot tall seedling apples. So that'll be fun. These are from trees from where Sasha and I live that make incredibly small but really useful fruit for birds in the winter. Turkish rocket, as per usual, is just a beast. Everybody in here, these crazy green leaves. It looks super weedy, and it is. We dig these plants up each year to get as many crowns as we can out, so there's room for other things to happen. And Turkish rocket, like sea kale, like comfrey, any root fragment that remains sprouts. So it's a wonderful problem. It's a real issue. We can't ever really grow other nursery crops in here. So we'll set the inventory nice and high, either for this fall or in the spring. I think what we're going to trend towards is going a little bit more thorough on offering the woody perennials, our hazelnuts, our chestnuts, pawpaws, persimmons, elderberry cuttings, currant cuttings in the fall to get them into their final homes, and a little bit more weighted towards herbaceous perennials in the spring. So if you don't find what you're looking for when you come to the website September 1st or September 2nd, you can trust it'll be there in the spring. There are nursery beds everywhere in this 6-acre landscape, and after 8 to 10 years of just adding more and more complexity, they're getting to be a really beautiful, wonderful wild space. Just so many cuttings and seeds and divisions. They're so generous in being able to offer up excess that can go out to new locations. And for us, it's a relief because then we can get our walkways back and we can have some spaces to grow new things and the like. In here, this is more of a shade production area. We've got a few beds with some cuttings, red currants in there. Miyoga ginger did incredibly well in here this season. They really do like the partial shade. You can see that is a bed. Some of those are going to be almost 6 feet tall. I've never seen them grow that tall. It's pretty exciting. And a real beautiful combo is the Miyoga ginger with second-year pawpaws. So we're going to hopefully have a lot of these on offer. You can see really good top growth, some nice lateral branching starting to happen. Some of these may be 2 feet or taller come fall. The majority of them are, 18 inches or so. You can see these are pawpaws that we sowed last spring after storing in our root cellar over winter, and we simply let them be here for 2 seasons. Really high density. You can see some smaller ones in there. We'll grade those out as first-year plants, even though they are 2 years old. But lots of really nice stems in here. We're certainly learning with pawpaw in particular. They're slow. They like the shade when they're young. They're slow to get a nice top growth, and so leaving them in beds for 2 years really works quite nicely. We're saving the seeds from some of the more flavorful peaches in this landscape. You can see we just throw them in a crate for now, and then we'll mix them with sawdust in the fall. Well, we did that last year, and we're able to get enough peaches that now we can offer peach trees. So pretty low-tech way to add a new thing to the nursery is to put a bucket near the tree, throw your pits in there, plant them, and ... you've got plants for sale. It's kind of exciting, and I hope a lot of you folks that are thinking about integrating a little bit more nursery work in your life, either as income or to reduce the costs of things in your gardens, do so. It is really a delightful activity. You can see in front of me here is an insane block of plants. There are tons of different varieties of currants in there, elderberries, and our plan is to set the inventory on cuttings nice and high for elderberry and currants, just so we can simply cut through here and have access for next year. So we've got some white currants. They look like this by the end of the season. They drop their leaves pretty early, but some really beautiful varieties of black currants. That's wildwood, which makes some of the largest flowers up to 2 foot in diameter. We certainly need to cut that back basically to the ground. So we plan on offering a few thousand cuttings, and to save our time and so that we can actually have the prices be much lower, by default with currants and elderberries, we're not going to label them. You can certainly request that, and we will do our absolute best to give good, thorough labeling. But this way we can err on the side of quantity and not put tons of plastic into each of the packages. So give us some feedback on that. Does that seem okay? What would you prefer? And certainly when you make an order, let us know that you're looking for wildwood or scotia or, and we'll do our best to add them in there. For some folks, I could imagine it feeling pleasurable or exciting to see the reality of where the plants come from that you order from us, and to know that they live their lives out in some pretty gentle context. Like in here, this is where we source most of our Titania and Crusader black currant cuttings, just a little woodland glade, and they never get watered. We'll add some compost here or there, but mainly we'll add grass clippings for them, and they do fine enough and get to have kind of a wild woodland edge vibe in their life. And we go through and prune them back to invigorate them and get new growth, to get our walkways back, and to get you plant material so you can have the same problems in your future too. This year we've expanded our persimmon and seedling pawpaw production quite a bit. Pardon me there. And we're leaning again into the idea of the woodland context. This was in potatoes last year, these 2 contour beds. And the potatoes did a great job of loosening the soil, getting most of the weeds out. And so this spring, we went through and sowed pawpaws like crazy from a really lovely orchard that may be gone by now. It was going to be demolished. So we got 3,000 or 4,000 seeds this last fall. So these beds, this is the start of the pawpaws. They'll have 2 years in these beds and get to relax in the woods and get to be a big, beautiful size. And then this bed has all persimmons, which are mightily shade tolerant when they're young. And depending on their size, we'll either dig them up and sell them or let them be there for another season so they can become second-year plants, all nestled in the woods here. Out here on the far west end of the property is our largest opening. We get about 1.5 acres or 2 of pretty decent full light out here. This year we went pretty seriously in the realm of staple food crop production. It feels critical to keep always increasing the amount of food resilience that we have for us and for the community. And you can see through here, all of the edges of these are potatoes, but we do have some nursery stuff happening. So we'll be able to offer bronze fennel through the nursery, and in between where the potatoes are, we seeded out a bunch of rhubarb. And so these will be dug up either in the fall or next spring. So staple crop, survival food on the edges, nursery for our financial survival in the middle, and then spreading through all of it is just an absolute sea of winter squash. Hopefully we get a few hundred or 1,000 pounds of squash so we can donate a bunch to some local food justice groups this fall and have some nursery stock while we're at it. For those of you that have felt frustrated in the past where you've gone on the website and you wanted to order plants and they're all sold out, you get there within the first day or two and it's sold out. Hopefully you can understand. I mean, I feel bad that that's the reality, but the thing is we need to make a living with these plants, but first and foremost, our interest is in growing lots of food for us in the community and really understanding and learning more about these systems. So we could scale up, we could increase production and get way more efficient and just kind of buy all new materials and be able to hammer out lots more orders. But we want to err on the side of ethics and quality over quantity. And so we hope that you can appreciate that when you bump up against some frustrations there. But we're trying to always get a little bit more efficient as we go so we can keep offering plants. But maybe where you live, you want to become a nursery so that you can serve the folks around you. Just an idea. We've got Juan's bottle house and loofah gourd trellis going like mad right now. We won't be selling any of those. He wanted to just see what it would look like to grow a bunch of containers and sponges, and it looks like we're off to a good start with that. We've got way more production out here, almost to a crazy place. A whole bunch more air prune boxes of persimmons. These were the peaches I was talking about before. They got so tall we had to take the lids off. They're about 2 feet, almost 3 feet tall now. And then so many chestnuts. We have probably 1,000 to 2,000 seedling chestnuts, all ranging. We have grade B that are going to be less than a foot tall, but most of them will end up being around 2 feet tall, at least a foot, but much taller. And these were from a collection with my dear friend Eric out in the Hudson Valley. We collected last fall from the most diverse chestnut plantings we could find. So these are incredibly resilient and incredibly diverse genetics that we can offer this fall. It just keeps going on and on for days. The air prune boxes have worked so beautifully for keeping chipmunks out and rabbits and deer away. And this way we don't have to do any hunting or spraying or traps or poison. Just simply keep them out and the plants do really nicely for themselves. You can see we open the boxes as the trees get too tall to fit in there. Anyway, last but not least, we'll take a look over in this other area. Real focused production this season. Got a whole block of Osage Orange seedlings. Definitely hundreds of little ones. It's all those lime green friends there. And then just a nice sea of elderberry and currants that are rooted. And we're going to do a similar picture. For the most part, we want to offer up black currant, red currant, and elderberry as the default. And if you're looking for a particular type, we will get that type for you if we have it, and we'll label them. But otherwise, we're going to go a little bit more generic and simple. At this point, pretty much all of the currants and elders we propagate are from insanely good parents. So we can just send them along and you know that they're good. But if you want to know what the name may have been, we can do that too. But certainly lots of plants to work with here. Oh, and we finally got enough horseradish that we can offer that up to folks. We run out of that every year, and this year we will run out of it, but not as soon. Anyway, that's a wandering tour of some of the production areas of our crazy little nursery here, our permaculture nursery. And we will be updating. I'm going to start working on getting the inventory updated the night before, so August 31st, sometime in the evening before I go to bed. And September 1st, first thing, it should all be there. We're going to have some new offerings, Illinois bundleflower, the peaches, and maybe Schisandra, maybe serviceberry, a couple other things that have good enough numbers now that they're doing really well. And if you are local or regional and you know you could drive to us, we're in Ithaca, New York, Finger Lakes area, if you find that we're sold out on what you're looking for, just wait a little bit. We're going to email the email list and do a follow-up local sale for some of the larger plants and bulk deals of like 10 packs and 25 packs for local people. That those sorts of plants don't ship very easily, so we're going to get them going to local people too. And if you're thinking about getting started in the perennial nursery world and would like starter packs of just tons of cuttings and smaller plants at a discount, shoot us an email, Sean, S-E-A-N, at edibleacres.org. We want to start offering that more and more. And if you're doing really great food justice work and you're local enough that you can come pick those up, we can donate too. Anyway, hope you all are well. Thanks for your patience in us being sold out 95% of the time. And know that we're really excited to keep growing with you and appreciate your orders and your patience with us. Thank you so much and be well. We'll see you September 1st.